Thanks for talking to us today, Sean. First, I know you addressed it end of last week, but it's obviously concerning time for many with the rising COVID rates throughout the UK. How concerned are you that this is going to affect the season or certainly the festive period, considering everything seems to be changing and increasing so rapidly?
Well, we don't know yet. All we can do is go by the guidelines that we're given from the Premier League. The hardest thing, I think, for all of the football, only the football industry, not about the medical side, obviously, because there's a massive picture to that, is the crossovers. Players still have lives, so do the coaches and managers, and the rules outside of football are considerably different to the rules inside of football. So I think inside of football, we're trying to do what we can and work with the rules and, and the guidelines to help and make sure that games are on and, we can keep delivering. Outside of that, they still, the human beings have lives, so they still have the chance to go out and, whatever, go for dinner with their families and see friends and all that sort of stuff. So it's the crossover that's probably the hardest from a lifestyle and management point of view. But the Premier League are working very hard, I know that, and we're all trying to observe the guidelines and try and keep this at a minimum, at least in football, trying to play our part through football.
So how do you balance that then? Because like you said, everybody has a life, but at the same time, within football, I suppose there's a greater scrutiny on what people are going to do outside of, the training ground and that kind of thing. So how do you balance that in terms of, obviously everyone's entitled to do what they want, but are you asking people to sort of stay at home and not really do that much?
No, not particularly. I think there's a commonsensical view, and obviously on the other side of this period for football, it is busy. So, it's fair to say that players probably, won't be going out as much generally, and maybe family and visits and stuff like that. But there is a lot going on over this next few weeks, so maybe that helps in just purely in football yet again. Look, like I say, everyone's got a requirement to observe the rules to the best of their ability. We can only ask our players to do that, and we can only ask ourselves and the club to do that when we're at work.
The Prime Minister was on television last night, urging people to go and get their booster shots. How easy is that within the football world, considering you've got games so often that if anybody needs to take time out or anybody has an adverse reaction, it negatively affects their livelihood and what they do for a living?
Well, we attempted to speak to all of our players with the scientific viewpoint, of course. We've got quite a high rate. There are still a few players who haven't got the vaccination, or certainly not the first, certainly not the full vaccination. We are advising, but everyone has a choice. Everyone's got freedom to choose. My personal, I've had all three, because I just think it's relevant to do so, but I'm not going to start preaching to others. They'll have their own opinions of what they think's right and wrong. And we can't make people do these things. We can only suggest that it's the right thing to do. And then, in answer to your question more clearly, that the timing of it and any reaction, I had a minor reaction, nothing too drastic, but didn't last very long. We can only time it the best we can and try and fit, in between windows for players and the like, and get things done the best we can, as long as they want that, of course.
You've talked about how important the fans are going to be as you sort of try to push back up the table, and it's a big game on Wednesday. It's going to be a little more difficult to get into the stadium, but I presume the message is, please still turn up, get here early because we really need you right now.
Yeah, I don't think I have to preach that message to the Burnley fans because they've been there for a long time. And, I know many who make a massive effort to get to games home and away. So I think they'll certainly play their part in doing what they can to be in the stadiums wherever we are. We of course, everyone wants people in stadiums. All of football wanted people in stadiums. So we hope that numbers still come, and with all the different challenges and what's sort of looking like it's going to occur. But I think the Burnley fans have been there for a long time, been supporting the club for a long time. Very tight connection between the club and the fans here. So I think they'll still turn up, and we want them to, of course. And back to the point, I mainly referenced yesterday's game because we were quiet and we were off our mark in the first half, and that's important when fans stay calm and they stay patient to the group that they're looking at and the group that have given a lot over these years, and I think that's fantastic. not remotely judging any other clubs. It's just at this one, the fans do get behind the team, and I thought yesterday was fantastic, because we weren't anywhere near where we can be in the first half. Bit better second, still not right on top of the game, but we were a bit better second, and they were terrific. They were behind the team absolutely all the way, and I think that's important for us.
We were lucky to speak to Josh Brown a bit earlier, and he was saying that, look, he's not going to pretend this isn't a big game on Wednesday. Is that a fair assessment? Is that, most managers will say all games are the same, they're all 3 points, but realistically, how big is it to beat the teams that are around down the bottom of the table?
All games are the same, and it's all 3 points.
I should have known that was coming, shouldn't I?
You said it.
But realistically, though, I mean, relegation sort of, zone games must mean so much, especially when you've got so many in a row as well. A good run of form during Christmas sets teams up, doesn't it?
It's a strange sort of situation now in football. I think they start talking about who's going to win the league and relegation battles after like the first hour of football in a season. So I still think it's pretty early to be talking about these things. We've been down this situation before. There is a lot of games to come. There's a lot of football to be played. We've slowly but surely been getting back to where I think we can be, certainly with clean sheets and being tighter in games and draws. We're well aware we've got to make them games draws into wins. But no, we've been down this road before. It's not a road we want to be down, but we are where we are on the table. We know the challenge that's in front of us. Our players definitely do. Our fans certainly do as well. So it is that case of the next one is the most important one, regardless of who you're playing, because you need to pick up points wherever you can. Newcastle had a big result against us, important result for them. A lot of action around the ground at that time they won, and then they get beat 4-0 the next game. So that's how tough the Premier League can be. It's not, the last one's not the answer to the next one. You don't need one win, you need lots of them. So it's how you get them and how you challenge yourselves over a season. That's definitely the experience I've had in the Premier League, being at Burnley, and that's what we continue to use, hopefully, to our betterment going forwards.
That's great. Have a great week, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Andy, PLP?
Hiya, Sean. You mentioned there turning these draws into wins. Apart from, obviously, outscoring the opposition, what's the big key for you to doing that at the minute?
It's the same answer virtually every week. It's details. You have to get the details right. We can... as managers and coaches, you're trying to get the team into the right areas to be effective. You're trying to affect the opposition, quite obviously. The final moment of truth is owned by the players. That's the reality of coaching. That's the undefinable quality is the moment when someone takes the final chance or the final cross or pass or whatever. That's where the players step in, and that's the trust you have in the players and the abilities that they have. And I certainly trust the players here. And it's the freedom to go and sort of play and open up options and open up different ways of affecting a game. And that idea of confidence, this word confidence, where you build it, it's not given, you build it, and you build it from yourself, you build it from your team, and you build it from those around you. And we haven't particularly lacked that. Yesterday was the first time I thought, actually, for a while, we stepped off the mark, but we corrected it and got back to where we sort of towards where we want to be in the second half. So, it's the coaching kind of angle is to get them in the right areas to cause enough problems for the opposition. And of course, not forgetting the balance, which is you've got to make sure you defend right, which we did yesterday. And it ended up getting us a good clean sheet at a point. The balance, the details, these are all things that I keep talking around because it's the truth of what's going on at the moment for us.
At what point then do these number of draws start playing on the minds of the players almost when it comes to those tiny details, do you think?
Well, that's something you'd have to ask them. There's certainly no pressure from me about it. We talk about it, we look at it, we look at the stats, we look at the production, we look at the areas we're getting into, we look at how more effective we could be, we look at form, we look at the mixtures of players going out on a pitch. All them things, they all have to be put into the thoughts. And then, like I say, you come out with what you hope is a good mix and it plays and it performs and then you win. Sounds really easy, doesn't it?
Very much so. Certainly not in reality. Dion Dublin was saying on Match of the Day 2 last night, he's never worried about Burnley when it comes to relegation? Because you've been there, you've done it, you've got the T-shirt and got out of it. Do you take that as a compliment, or do you kind of get sick of hearing about it?
Well, firstly, Dion, fine fella. Someone I know, played with as well, you know, so a lot of respect for him. If his view is a good one, obviously. I'm bound to say that. But no, look, I mean, it doesn't guarantee you anything, but we've got an experience. We've got a group who are experienced. We've got a reality to most seasons here, not every season. Obviously, we've had some big finishes, but most seasons are a challenge for us. We do know the market we're in. We know how it operates. Now, it's all right knowing all of that, but you've still got to go out and perform. You know, because it doesn't, just because you know all these things and you're experienced and you've got players who have experienced this sort of field before, and we've got a fan base that has as well, don't forget, but that doesn't give you anything. All it does is make you more game ready for it. So we've got to take that thinking and actually perform, because like I say, it doesn't owe you anything. Football doesn't owe you anything. You have to go and grab it. So that's something I have been talking to the players about. There is a base that we're building on. We have got a number of draws, of course, but we're still, you know, getting clean sheets. We're still looking defensively solid and tight at times. We've had a few loose ones, but that side of it's been at least as good. Could still be better, but at least good at times. And now it's about building on that platform, if you like, that base to go and be more effective in attack. And, you know, finding that balance is key. And that's the sort of hardest part, is finding the balance. Can you defend well, but can you attack well?
You always come across as very outwardly, at least, relaxed about the situation. What do you feel? Do you feel relaxed about the current situation at Burnley are in, or not?
It's not about being relaxed. It's just the reality. You know, I try and work on realities. So reality is we are where we are. The reality is seasons in the Premier League are a challenge for us. Always have been. So I don't go into a season thinking they're all going to be, you know, Europa League and you know, 54-point seasons, because they're for us a massive achievement. On the other hand, I do believe totally in the players we've got. Absolutely, totally. You know, I think we've got a good group here, and I think there's a lot of talent in the building. So I totally believe in that on the other hand. So it's not about being relaxed. I'm just a realist. You know, I know the challenge of the Premier League.
Speaking of the players you've got, obviously the game's coming thick and fast at the minute. How are you team-wise ahead of Watford?
Yeah, touch and go with Maxwell, so we'll have to wait on that one, you know, this week. And obviously the challenge is if he can't make Wednesday, can he make Saturday? We'll have to wait and see. Barnes is still a bit longer term. Dale Stevens back out of COVID, but obviously needs to catch up now. Connor's come out of hospital, look gradually better, getting better, from a serious infection, so that settles down. No, not COVID, just to be clear, nothing to do with that. Yeah, so, and a few knocks and aches and pains, but we're hoping that people are back sooner rather than later, obviously.
Have there been any COVID cases, do you mind me asking, around Burnley? Or
yeah, no, Dale was.
Dale,
yeah. But he's back now out of the COVID protocols. Great. He wasn't particularly unwell, you know, a bit off colour and a bit unwell, but not anything serious, yeah.
Good, glad to hear it. Just one final one from me. I know you talked about Watford, it being very, very early on in the season still relatively, but 3 points could take you outside the bottom three. What does that do mentally for the group of players? Anything or not?
It might do. I mean, you know, the way I look at it, you need the next win that comes around, you enjoy it, but you park it very quickly because it doesn't, you know, the end of the season is where it really lives. You know, that's when the league table is the most important. So it's a building block, that's for sure. It changes the rhetoric, really. You know, when you come out the bottom three, it just changes a bit of the storyline. But like I said, I'm used to, unfortunately used to challenges like this. But we have had seasons where we're a lot stronger. I think we are stronger than what we're showing at the minute. I think we are stronger, and our performances are stronger than the league table suggests. But the league table is there, and it doesn't lie. So we've got to make sure that we get, as discussed at the beginning, the right side of performances, the right side of details to make sure we win games and go up the table.